Hi, thanks for watching. Happy Sunday the 13th of January 2019, and it is a happy looking thing as well. It's not the easiest going of days today, but we are coming up to a week of fantastic revelations. At the moment the moon is in Aries, so people are still a little bit strict with each other and really quite strict with themselves as well. There's activity going on, people want to get things done, there's a striving feeling behind things, and it's a great day in terms of today for anything that takes a lot of courage. Basically, that is what is kind of summing itself up into the influences of the day. But as we go forward, next week it's all happening. We get the half moon, and that's actually 6:45 a.m. tomorrow morning UK. So that means 10:45 p.m. tonight the moon reaches 50% full on the Pacific side of the States and Canada. The west side. On the east side, you see it's 1:45 a.m. Here in UK, as I say, 6:45 tomorrow. I might be making the video about the time that happens. That's when the energy builds up. We've also got moon entering Taurus tomorrow, pretty much wherever you are in the world, not until the early hours of Tuesday the 15th in New Zealand. But that Taurus influence is coming as we go through next week. We've got Gemini and we've got Cancer, but we've got other things happening next week as well. Things changing which haven't changed for quite a while. That's the bottom line. So it changes the emphasis in the way things work. It should be a loved up week. I was talking about that yesterday. Now, I can't promise anything. Don't be getting your hopes up too much. But this is not one of those things where I'm going to say, oh, it really might not happen. Because it really might, Look at the positive side. Look at the plus side. Think, what would you like to happen? Visualize it. See it. Believe it. Because it's a great week for it coming up. First thing that happens, as I say, actually later tonight or very early in the morning, depending where you are in the world, we get that 50% full, and then the energy is really in, pushing us towards an amazing full moon, actually, which is coming up. And January is a very special month in astrology this year. Basically, at the moment, right, the sun has been in Capricorn for quite some time. On Sunday the 20th, next Sunday, it leaves Capricorn, and so it's not so grounded, it's not so kind of sure of itself. But it goes into Aquarius, and there's no holds barred. Anything can happen. This really gets cracking next Friday the 18th, because there's a fiery trine between Mars and Venus, and that gets the love thing started up. So really it's next weekend when we're looking at the best of this happening, but the whole week before it is a build up to it. And whenever there's a build up to something in astrology, we would say that was an applying aspect to everything, meaning it's the next thing to happen. So that's the way the energy is going, that's the way it's coming in. And be like that, bring it in, draw it into yourself. There is no reason why you shouldn't have it. There really isn't. Particularly if you never really kind of felt loved up like that, this is a great time for people like that, because things are going to change. We're going to break the mold. It's going to be fantastic. Strictly speaking, in terms of today, the moon is still 40.7%, so she's not quite all the way up there yet, but she is getting there and is very nearly there now. The sun is square Uranus. Well, Uranus isn't retrograde anymore, but dear me, it doesn't look all that great to me. Leaders and authorities struggling. I always enjoy that one because I think they need a bit of correction now and again. Sure, there's a word, isn't it? But they do need a bit of correction. Not a great time for trying to keep everything the same as it's always been, basically. And it may be difficult if you're leading something to actually control it. But don't panic. That's just the way it is at the moment. Never panic. That's the main thing to do. Okay, the moon is square Mercury. Strong emotions leading to misunderstandings are quite possible. Mercury is very far from retrograde at the moment. It's direct, but all the same, with this alignment, Mercury squaring the moon, Mercury is the messenger of the gods, and with that alignment to the moon, it could be difficult. So just be sensitive. Be aware that disturbances might come up, particularly with schedules, something you've planned to go to a time, travel, transport, anything like that. Kind of difficult. Mercury itself is conjunct Saturn, so the serious things coming out to be talked about. Careful negotiation. Again, just go gently at it, and bear in mind that the authority figures that you might be trying to petition just might, they might have something else going on and they just can't do it. Who knows? It is Sunday though, so, hopefully we're not going to be too political about it. Venus trine Mars, affection, devotion, great. Actually, not a bad time for action in anything to do with money that might be concerning you or you think might be going to concern you in the time ahead. So that's no bad thing. But on the other hand, Mars is square Saturn. It's tricky in terms of relationships because it's kind of pulling the other way. People are trying to handle their primitive impulses, dig deep, sort out things that have been bothering them for a long time, whereas Venus just wants to go forward and be happy. There is no bad thing at all. There is nothing at all wrong with just forgetting the past. Forgive, forget, and move forward, because quite honestly, if someone's really upset you a lot and you really don't want any more to do with them, then that really is because that person meant a lot to you, and it's much better to try and iron it out if you can. Really much better to try and tackle it that way. Okay folks, well there we go. There is my attempt at summing up the astrology of today. Keep an eye on next week. It's going to be fantastic. I'll be back every day that I possibly can. Have a brilliant Sunday, friends. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.